This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy. He's here.
Welcome to the Barbados Today Afternoon Update for Tuesday, March 31st. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Thanks for joining us. We begin with a stern warning from the police to members of the public. Don't allow strangers to enter your homes without first seeking identification. The caution comes amid the social media reports that armed men impersonating National Housing Corporation workers forced their way into houses of two families recently. According to the reports, the incident allegedly occurred in the St. James and Christchurch areas. But while police spokesman David Welch says such a report has not landed on his desk, he revealed that from time to time, people with less than good intentions used fabricated excuses to get into the homes of unsuspecting individuals. And it's for that reason that he's advising residents to request to see some form of identification for unknown persons before allowing them entry. The abuse of the nation's young people has been swept under the carpet for too long. That's the view of principal of the Government Industrial School at Dodds, Erwin Leacock, who highlighted that the problem was one of the major contributing factors of juveniles coming into contact with the law. And he says the upcoming National Conference on Juvenile Justice will take a closer look at the issue.
Unfortunately, I often refer to it as Barbados' dirty little secret. We don't like to talk about it. But this is one of the reasons why this conference is important, because we have to discuss the risk factors associated with juvenile offending, juvenile delinquency, because too often we tend to relate only to the salacious aspects of individual cases and not necessarily to the circumstances that have resulted in children being in contact with the law. Very, very often there are horrific stories behind a lot of these issues. We don't like to talk about it, but we must.
That was principal of Government's Industrial School at Dodds, Erwin Leacock. Meantime, legislation is coming which will see inspectors policing farms around the island in the fight against predial larceny. Word of this from Minister in charge of the sector, Dr. David Estwick, who says the new measures form part of revamped legislation, which is already on Parliament's order paper for consideration. Speaking at the opening of the two-day Barbados National Agricultural Conference, Dr. Estwick explained that these inspectors, who will be attached to his ministry, will aid police officers in arresting this pesky issue. In other news, the Barbados Workers Union is calling for an urgent meeting with the Barbados Light and Power officials to discuss proposed staff cuts. And the talks Assistant General Secretary Orlando Gabby Scott says must be chaired by Labour Minister Senator Dr. Esther Bayer. Scott made the call last night following a 2-hour-long meeting with BL&P workers at Solidarity House to discuss the layoffs, which is said to be part of the company's cost-cutting measures. But the BW maintains the manner in which the company made the announcement is in breach of the Employment Rights Act.
That is a breach of the Protocol 6, as well as a breach of the Protocol 6 of the Social Partnership, as well as the Employment Rights Act. The point is that any issue in terms of if they're going to be retrenchments or layoffs, then that letter ought to have been sent to the trade union, not to the workers, right? So, and we have had a similar thing with that with certain companies whose name is necessarily recalled, but that has happened before.
Scott is also asking the Labour Minister to take the lead on the matter.
That the union is willing to meet with the company, but that meeting will have to be called. A letter will have to be written to the Minister of Labour, who's the chairman of the subcommittee of the Social Partnership, And then we would expect that minister to move post haste to call a meeting between the Barbados Workers Union and the Light and Power to discuss the issue.
In sports, the Special Olympics Barbados National Aquatics meet is on the way at the Aquatics Center in Wildy. Among those in the pool are athletes selected for the 2015 Special Olympic World Games to be held in Los Angeles, California from July 25th to August 2nd. They include J.T. Brathwaite, Kofi Codigan, Dion Elliott and Abigail Mayers. The alternates name for the World Games team are Davio Hardin and Simpson Page. Corporate and private citizens are being asked to contribute to the Digital Road to the World Games Fund.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, we're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
We pick up with news out of Jamaica, where opposition leader Andrew Holness survived a crucial internal vote to remain at the helm of the party.
20 of the 21 Jamaica Labour Party MPs were present at the meeting today here at the party headquarters. We're told that J.C. Hutchinson missed it because of illness. It is reported that the question of Mr. Holness's leadership was put to a vote and there was a divide on that matter. But even as there are reports of a divide, the MPs left the meeting with one united approach. They will not be speaking to us. We are told that 7 MPs voted against Mr. Holness keeping his job as opposition leader. The other 13 voted for him to stay. A JLP insider said the dissenting votes were cast by Daryl Vaz, James Robertson, Delroy Chuck, Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, Gregory Meir and Audley Shaw. It is unclear who is the 7th MP. Mr. Smith is the leader of opposition business in the lower house and therefore chaired today's meeting. He is the person authorized to speak on the matter.
Mr. Andrew Holness has been reaffirmed as the leader of the opposition in the House, parliamentary opposition. We have had a meeting which lasted approximately 3.5 hours. Very good meeting, very cordial, and I'm very convinced that based on what I picked up at the meeting, and that we are in good stead.
That report from Andre Jebinson of Television Jamaica. And finally, on the international scene, we headed to Nigeria, where partial results from last weekend's poll shows ex-military ruler Muhammadu Buhari with a substantial lead over the incumbent, President Goodluck Jonathan. 2/3 of Nigeria's states have been declared, with the General's All Progressive Congress ahead by 1.5 million votes. The victory would make President Jonathan the first incumbent to lose an election in Nigeria. And on that note, we come to the end of our Barbados Today afternoon updates, but we will be back again this evening. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into Channel 101 online TV, as well as Mix 96.9 FM. There you can get all the latest news and sports. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? #sexy